I've been working with high rep sandbag box squats for nearly 8 months now, and I recently hit a few big milestones. I took a bodyweight sandbag, or close to bodyweight. I weighed just about 170 and the sandbag was 177, for a set of 500 reps without ever letting go of the weight. It took an hour and 40 minutes. I also just reached 300 reps with a 200-pound sandbag. That set took an hour and 10, and I think I can push it further. Working towards these truly high rep sets taught me a few things, and I thought I'd share my findings in case you decide you'd like to try this stuff too. I should quickly say, if you want to know more about sandbag box squats, how to do them, and what makes them special, I recently made a video covering the exercise. I'll have it linked in the description. I should also say, if you're just after basic stuff like muscle and strength, maybe some endurance too, I do not believe pushing all the way to 500 reps is necessary, and you'll be much better off taking a heavier sandbag and working towards 50 to 100 reps over time. The things I'll cover today don't necessarily apply to those kinds of sets. I believe you need to approach a set of 300 in a different way than you would a set of 40, but there is some crossover. So even if you don't want to push for hundreds of reps, I think you'll still find this video useful. To start, I should probably try to answer the big question, why? Why would you do this and what's the point? I've been wondering that myself, and I wish I had a good response, something that might motivate you to want to try this stuff too, but I've realized the truth isn't really all that exciting. The journey started because I wanted to get something. I wanted the muscle and strength gains, I wanted to develop elite strength endurance and become a better sandbag lifter. I still want those things, and I got them in a big way. Pushing for this stuff took me from not even being able to budge a 300-pound sandbag in a bear hug position to lifting one from my lap to my chest for a surprisingly easy set of 10. I've added some good size, and all of my training has improved, sandbags and calisthenics both. But at this point, I don't think getting the stuff is the core reason for doing these high reps anymore. I still want to get the stuff, of course, but that's not really what I think about when attempting a set. As crazy as it sounds, the real reason I've kept pushing so far is because I enjoy it. As painful as it is, as terrible as it feels at some points, I've just come to like doing high rep box squats. It's fun, in a sorta messed up kind of way. Why do you go to a party? Why do you play an instrument, assuming you play without thoughts of potential future monetary gain? Why do you eat good food when boring and probably healthier options are there? I don't know, we just do things. A set of high rep box squats is just cool. What will you use your body for? All the options are there. Pick something. Might as well make it extreme. The feeling of accomplishment after getting a new record is the best. Sleeping deep for 8 hours straight the night after a set is great. Getting to share on social media and hearing everyone's feedback is great too. And it's nice knowing that doing this is only making me stronger and more resilient. But above all, I just like pushing myself. Experiencing something most will never experience. Proving to myself I can. Why would you do this? Why not? I'm still not sure I like my answer that much, but it's the best I could come up with. I also think strength endurance is the greatest attribute a person can train for. That box squat video I mentioned earlier goes more into that if you're interested. Anyway, let's get to some practical stuff. 1. Forget you can do anything when you put your mind to it, and instead consider you can do anything when you care. If you're going to push for hundreds of reps, you need to truly believe that doing so is important. If you don't, there's no way you'll ever make it very far. At all times during every set is the constant desire to give up and drop the sandbag early. And if you don't think hitting your rep goal means something, why wouldn't you just drop it? It'd be much easier in the moment if you did, and you could always just go work on something else instead. If you want to reach high reps, you need to care. Your reason for caring could be anything, because you know all the gains you've ever wanted are on the other side of just a few more reps, because strength endurance makes you a useful person, capable of thriving in harsh conditions where others might wither away, because proving to yourself you can follow through with those things you say you'll do is important, and because doing so takes you one step closer to becoming the type of person you'd like to be, because you want to show off on Instagram and prove that you have the will to go where others won't. All of these things are valid. If you want to successfully push for high reps, find something that makes you feel like they're worth doing. 2. You must view high rep sandbag box squats as something that adds to the body rather than as something that takes away from the body. You cannot go into a set with the idea that you're somehow damaging yourself. There's this really dumb idea many people seem to have, something like you only have so many reps in you, say 1,000,000, and once you hit that 1,000,000 mark, your body will disintegrate into dust. The idea that all of your cartilage or whatever is just going to disappear as a result of you doing things is fear-mongering. Reps will not destroy the body, they will strengthen it. That said, if you want to reach high reps, you'll need to kinda throw caution to the wind. You'll need to go into your sets with conviction. I will either be extraordinary or I will break. It's an all or nothing kind of mindset to have, and you have to have it. This might beat me down, this might destroy me, but it's precisely that which makes it so worth doing. By making it through this, I will come out the other side a stronger person, both physically and mentally. If you start to feel any warning signs during a set, if your back is hurting or whatever, don't push through that. Stop if you're going to injure yourself, of course, but don't go into a set expecting that to happen. What I'm really trying to say is, don't worry about potential negatives. Instead, think of the positive, and deal with any negatives if they ever actually show up. 3. It takes time to condition the body. Don't expect to walk in day one and hit a set of 300. Like I said at the start of this video, it took me nearly 8 months to reach body weight for 500. Jumping in too soon is asking for it. Start slow and build up slowly. 5 rep PRs add up a lot faster than you might expect. Don't rush. 4. Accept that your perception of possible will increase with every record you get. This ties into the last part. It takes time to condition the body to the work. Here is about conditioning the mind. When you first start out, a set of 30 might sound nearly impossible. It starts that way for everyone. Get yourself to do that set of 30, and you'll realize you could probably do 35 next time. Reach 35, and 40 becomes the new probably possible. When you reach 100, suddenly going for 110 seems doable. Eventually you'll hit the point where doing 50 more reps than you did last time seems like a reasonable jump. When you believe something is possible, you are much more likely to succeed. Give your mind the chance to adjust, to change how it views high reps. That's the way forward. 5. Do not only do high rep sets. If you want to reach high numbers, you need to increase your max strength. I feel I'm partly responsible for this one. I upload these sets of 100 plus and it's exciting. It's easy to focus on that part and ignore the rest, but those high reps were built with lower reps. This is why in my Sandbag Intensity program, the program I follow myself, I recommend starting with a sandbag weight that challenges you for a set of 10. Yes, just 10 reps, and over time working your way up to a rest pause set of 50, going for 5 rep PRs every workout. A 10 rep max is pretty heavy weight, all things considered. I also recommend working with a sandbag that's heavier than that too. For me, I believe taking my 250-pound sandbag from 10 reps to 60 and 275 up to 36 at the time of making this was an essential part of reaching 500 with 175. Working with lighter weights is important too, of course. That's the other half. High rep sets train the mind to push through discomfort for a long time and give you that strength endurance. And I do also believe high reps improve max strength as well, but progress will never be as good without some real heavy lifting. This is for one main reason. The higher your max strength, the lighter a lightweight will feel. Something I've noticed with high rep box squats is there seems to be 3 different zones: Zone 1, Zone 2, and Zone 3. In Zone 1, you have the light stuff, the stuff you could continue repping out forever, in theory, without strength ever holding you back. This is that pure mind over body territory. When you pass into Zone 2, you have those weights that are still light enough that you could keep going for a long time, but heavy enough that after a certain point, every rep will feel like a grind, and physical fatigue will become just as much of a factor as mental fatigue. For me at this moment, I seem to cross that threshold when I go from a 200-pound sandbag to a 220-pound sandbag. This is clear to see with my current records. I did 200 for 300 reps, but with 220, I've only managed 130 so far, and those 130 felt a lot more challenging to do. That doesn't seem right. How could adding just 20 pounds cut the number of reps in half and then some? But that's just how it goes once you pass into that next zone. Zone 3 is the really heavy stuff. Those weights where almost instantly from the start, every single rep feels like a max effort attempt. This is pure strength territory, and every extra rep you add here is extremely valuable. For me, 275 is still in this zone, but it's getting closer every day to becoming a Zone 2 weight. 290 though, that will push me to true complete failure in no time at all. I have a long way to go with that one. This zone may not seem like it's even related to Zone 1, but it is. See, the higher you raise your max strength, the more weights you'll have available to you in that Zone 1 category. When I started, 200 was a Zone 2 weight, but as I got stronger, it passed into Zone 1, and now I can use it for ultra high rep sets. Long way to say, raise your max strength, raise your potential. 6. When going for high reps with weights in that light Zone 1 category, start fast and don't worry about future fatigue. This is where you start to see a difference between sets of 30 and sets of 300. With a heavy set of 30, the last thing you want to do is start overly aggressive and wear yourself out by hitting true failure early on. With that kind of set, you'll want to take it 1 rep at a time and allow yourself enough rest between every rep so you can recover enough to do the next one without failing. In a heavy set like that, fatigue adds up. With a Zone 1 set, however, fatigue will not add up. It took me a long time to realize this, and it held me back. I thought if I started aggressive, repping out as many as I could straight away, I'd set myself up for failure later, but that isn't the case. With Zone 1 weights, your body will be able, physically, to keep doing reps pretty much forever. So start fast, rush your way to 50 or to wherever you start slowing down. You will not wear out past the point of no return by doing this. This is the most important part of the video in my opinion. It will cover a few different things, but at the base level, this section is about time. 7. Give yourself a time goal. Before getting to the details, I want to make it clear I don't care how long it takes to do a set, and I don't recommend anyone give themselves a set time limit. Max reps in 20 minutes is great, effective, and efficient, but that's not what this is about. These sets are about pushing yourself as far as you can go, regardless of how long it takes. 20 minutes or 2 hours, it doesn't matter, just get your reps. If you have to sit on your box all day, do it, get your reps. That said, having a time goal, again, not a limit, but a goal, can make a huge difference. It's night and day in my experience. I discovered this when going for that set of 500. See, I had managed 400 a week or two prior, but the set took nearly 2 hours to complete, and my camera battery died at the end. I knew if I was going to reach 500 and capture the full thing on film, I would need to move faster. I figured, if the camera battery will last 2 hours max, I need to finish in an hour and 50 minutes tops, just to be safe. An hour and 50 minutes is 6,600 seconds, divided by 500 is 13.2. If I wanted to complete the feat, I would need to force myself to do a rep every 13.2 seconds at the bare minimum. I aimed for 13 even to be safe. That may not seem like much of a big deal, but that is a very fast pace to maintain when doing 500 reps. Keep in mind, that's not pure rest time, that's 13 seconds total. Assuming each rep takes 2 to 3 seconds to do, that means I would only get roughly 10 seconds rest between every rep. I was a couple minutes into that set when I discovered part 2 of this segment. If you can do 1 rep, you can always do 2, and sometimes even 3, 4, or 5. That's a bonus of this Zone 1 place. Doing 2 reps in a row isn't actually any more mentally draining than doing 1, at least not much more mentally draining. What I found is, by doing 2 reps every time, that meant I was allowed 20 seconds rest between every burst of effort. If I did 3, I got 30 seconds, and using this mindset, I found I was able to bank time, to save it for later when I would need it. Going back to part 6, starting fast means you give yourself time in the bank straight away. If you can do 50 reps with an average of 6 seconds per rep, that's at least a few minutes rest you'll have stored up to use later when you're a couple hundred reps in and need it. The extra rest helped a lot too. After trying both, I've found it's much easier to do a set of 2 to 5 and rest longer between sets than it is to just keep up the pace with singles. Now, I will say I wasn't actually keeping track of my stored time. It's hard enough just remembering what rep you're on, but having the thought in mind helped a lot. It let me get 500 reps in an hour and 40 minutes, and the set actually felt easier than when I got to 400 in 2 hours. The sense of urgency having a time goal gives you changes everything. 8. Deep breaths and the modified Valsalva maneuver. Try to continue taking deep breaths between reps, even when it doesn't feel like you need to. It will help a lot. For the modified Valsalva maneuver, I'm almost reluctant to share this part because while I know my body, I realize not everyone knows theirs in the same way, but I've had a lot of success breathing during reps. With a heavy weight, you take a deep breath, brace hard, hold on to all or most of your air as you stand up, then rebrace at the top, and hold on to the brace as you sit back down. This is important with heavy weights, but Zone 1 weights are light. With these weights, I like to breathe out on the way up and breathe in on the way down. I'll always focus on keeping my abs flexed, of course, to protect the spine, but I won't hold my breath like I would with a heavy weight. A rep usually goes like this. Sitting on the box, I'll take a deep breath and brace my core, and as I stand up, I'll start breathing out, again, while keeping my abs flexed, and I'll try to time it so I reach the end of the breath right as I reach the top of the rep. I'll hold that position for a second, then I'll breathe in as I sit back down. Doing this helps a lot with getting into the flow, and it makes cluster sets of 2 to 5 reps easier because you don't need to stop and catch your breath on the box between reps. Use this technique at your own discretion. Keeping your back safe always comes first, but it's worked for me. 9. The final thing I'd like to discuss is gearing your training towards high-rep sandbag box squats. Every single thing I do in my training is meant to carry over to the high-rep sets, and I believe that has allowed me to push further faster. The other sandbag stuff I do is for volume, lots of repeated submaximal sets, which teaches the body to keep going for a long time. All of my calisthenics work is done using circuits, further building my strength, endurance, and general conditioning. Even my isolation work is done for higher reps. When hitting curls and extensions and whatever else, I always try to reach failure near the 30 rep mark, which again teaches the muscles what it means to go for a long time and acts as a constant reminder of how I want them to work. You might not need or want to take things that far, but doing so has helped me a ton. If you want to see my exact setup, I'll have a link to the 40-minute video I made covering the Sandbag Intensity program in the description below. And if you want a more detailed outline of the program, as well as some high-rep box squat motivation, consider checking out my Sandbag Intensity book on Amazon too. I hope you found this insightful. High-rep box squats are awesome. If you give them a try and post your sets online somewhere, let me know. It always motivates me to see others doing this stuff. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.